Hello and welcome. This is Project Healing Waters, Fayetteville, North Carolina program, and this is the first fly of the new year. It's called Coch y Bonddu, and that's with a U. I don't know. I called it the Bonddu until I followed up with some videos, and everybody was referring it to as the Bonddu. But anyway, I would like to welcome you to 2026. We have a whole line of flies set up for the year. Total count will be 23, and we look forward to y'all enjoying the videos. We're not getting a lot of comments or criticism. I've come out from the start saying I'm not very good at tying flies. I just don't have with all my volunteering, I just don't have the time to dedicate to be more proficient as I could be. But I just need to steer my participants in the right direction, and they can take it from there. Okay, the material list for this fly is it's a wet fly, and we're using Anex. 581 size 12. The thread we're using is a black 8 or 6/0, doesn't matter. The tail, if you want to call it a tail, or a just little hot spot, you're using Mylar. And with this tinsel, you've got one side that's gold, one side that's silver. As you can tell, we're going to be using the silver side. We're going to be using, for the body, Peacock Hurl. We're going to be using 3 strands. And then one thing I found interesting, that this fly takes a dubbing loop to do the rib. So we're going to illustrate that today with this video. And it's kind of good because we're actually going to be utilizing a true dubbing loop with some marabou in a future fly. And then to top it off, we've got the brown turkey hackle to finish off the fly. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll put our hook in the vise. And we want to start the thread wraps a little behind the eye, because remember, we've got to put that that hackle up there. And what we don't want to do is overcrowd the eye of the hook while doing so. And from here, we can go ahead and put our tinsel in. You don't want to use too thick of a tinsel here, because it gets really... it messes up the smoothness of the hot spot on the back. So go ahead and use, this one's just a medium. And let's go ahead and tie it in. And I'm doing silver side up. And we're just going to put some wraps in it to secure it. We'll just bring that thread back to the hook point. So let's go ahead and do some wraps. And we're just doing 2 to 3 wraps, just to create that hot spot. Get this thread out of the way. Alright, so we're going to bring it down, and now whoops. Hackle pliers do work. I'm just lazy right now. So go ahead and wrap it down like 2 or 3 times, and then we're just going to bring it back and just do some overlapping wraps. And that looks good. Okay. And don't worry if it doesn't match up here, because we're going to be covering this up with Peacock Hurl and thread. Just make sure it's nice and secure. This is a little difficult for me because I am working around this camera. Still fighting the camera. I guess I should do some research and see what better options are out there for me. So once you get that nice and secure, let's go ahead and trim the tinsel off, and let's go ahead and cover that up a little better. And again, the Peacock Hurl is going to do this, but I just want to make sure it's going to look good. So now what we want to do is we want to create our dubbing loop, and it's actually quite simple. We're just getting the string, and we're going to loop it with our finger. I've got my finger here. We're going to loop it. Then we're going to bring it back up. And we're going to start tying it in. And then I'm going to grab it with this hand. And then I'm just going to do a couple overlaps of this, kind of like how we're tying our thread in. We don't want to put the thread back there, that's for sure. How we're tying our thread in and securing it. So we're just going to do some overlapping wraps forward, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab it, and then we're just going to bring it all the way back. And there we have our dubbing loop. So from here, what we want to do, and we want to bring that all the way back, because this is where we're going to tie in. What this is this acts as a safeguard for our Peacock Hurl. So what we want to do is grab 3 strands of Peacock Hurl, and we want to dress up the ends. We don't want any white stuff in there. And clean that up, and this is what we're looking for. Get it up in the camera. And so we're going to tie this in. And I'm going to put it up a little forward. Ooh, I've got some ugliness in there. Let's go ahead and trim this up again. I'm going to bring this up a little forward so I can build up that body. Just like so. Make sure we're right there and we're not. Though we still, I don't think we have our hot spot anymore. Okay, so let's try this again. Alright, there, we got our hot spot. Yep. And so I'm just going to bring this all the way forward and cinch this down. Okay. And remember, we don't want to build up too much here by the eye of the hook, because we are going to be putting a hackle. So now let's go ahead. Oops, forgot the twist. Let's just go ahead and twist this up a little bit so they remain together. And don't twist it too much, because these are brittle. And let's just do some wraps forward. To our thread. And that looks good. Put one wrap in it, secure it. And then we're going to put another tighter wrap in it. Grab these fibers. Good. Alright. And then we can come up here and trim off the remaining. Now what we want to do with this dubbing loop is we want to go the opposite direction. And we're just doing spacing wraps. Alright, and what we're going to do is we're going to secure that in without messing up our Peacock Hurl. Okay. And then what we can do is we can remove the thread. Now let's go ahead and we can bring in our hackle. So I'm going to see how big I want it to be, and that looks good. Right about, maybe a little too big. So I'm just going to strip it down a little bit. Because what we don't want is we don't want ungodly fibers shooting off the head of this fly. So let's go ahead and bring our thread back and tie this in with several wraps, tighter and tighter. Okay, so now let's get in here and remove the stem. And then we can come and cinch that down. Now, I would recommend Hackle pliers with this. You know how I feel about Hackle pliers, but sometimes they really do save you a lot of hassle. So I'm just going to come forward, just making sure these are coming back, and that I'm not. And wetting your fingers helps. I just don't want a lot of these fibers just shooting forward. Okay, right there, and we just need two. Looks like that one moved on me a little bit, but we'll be all right. Okay. And put 3 wraps in there to secure it. And then come up here with our nice pointy scissors and remove the remaining hackle. And then just wet your fingertips, and then you can just bring this back. And we can just build up that head a little bit. If you want to come work the fibers back, you can do that to have it pushing back. But I like what I'm seeing there. Go ahead and put a whip finish in this so I don't lose my work. Okay. And there we have it. Okay. Like I said, this is the first of 2 flies for January, and we do have a huge lineup coming up. We've got some very interesting flies with some different material that we're going to be using. We're going to be catering to warm water when it gets hot here in the summer, so targeting bass and panfish, since that's mostly what we get around here during the summer. Usually there's no trout left. But this is Project Healing Waters for the first fly of 2026. We appreciate you watching, and please like and share. Definitely wouldn't mind a couple follows as well. If you have any comments or questions, please hit us up below, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you for watching. This is Project Healing Waters, Fayetteville, North Carolina, signing off.